Hey, what is going on, my PhD students? I have no idea if that's going to stick, but in today's video, we are going to be reviewing someone else's review of Five Nights at Freddy's because this movie is like one of the most divided films I think I've ever seen in a very long time, especially for YouTube, and that Five Nights at Freddy's is so big for YouTube. So I'm curious as to what other people are going to think of this movie. And I have picked no one else better than our friend Tyrone Magnus. Um, if I'm gonna react to someone else's review of something, it's gonna be him. If I'm gonna steal someone else's content, it's gonna be him because he does the same thing. So whilst we're small, I'm still okay with doing this, but this will be the last review of it. So I am very curious as to what our buddy is gonna say about it. Um, I know a lot of people like this movie, but this guy is just kind of like he's like a millennial, so I'm curious as to what his opinion of the movie is going to be. Anyway, stay tuned, and I will go to uh, Five Nights at Freddy's films, and I will prank people by jump scaring them in the theater.
What is happening, Magnasites?
Magnasites never get
Just
old.
got done playing, not playing, seeing Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, for all of you that don't know, I just recently played Five Nights at Freddy's. People seem to love it. I ordered the second
This
one,
guy's
but
reaction.
I didn't play it yet.
This guy's reaction to Five Nights at Freddy's would be hilarious.
So I didn't play it yet. So as far as any
Did he say he ordered the second one? What the heck?
storyline
This guy is a boomer. Never mind. Are you kidding me?
or lore,
I ordered the second one.
I don't know much. The first game was very simple, yet it was a good game. You know what I mean? So I guess in a way I'm going into it blinder than other people because there's like 4 or 5 of them, right? I don't know. So
Look at it. Look at him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Five Nights at Freddy's.
I like the trailers, and getting into this movie,
Right.
I knew that I felt like I was going to have some fun with it. You know what I mean? I didn't know how good it was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad. I didn't know if it was going to be Razzie material. There are some jump scares in there, you know what
No,
I
there's
mean?
not.
Which you're going to
Not in my
expect
opinion.
if you've ever played Five Nights at Freddy's. If you haven't, the premise of the game is basically you're a security guard that has to get through
Okay, we
five
know.
securing, in your security booth, which is what you stay in all night. Things happen throughout. Stop from happening to you, possibly. Those things from affecting you, I will say.
Okay. So what's your review?
So the movie,
Okay, just before we start here, I don't know if because sometimes he has some really astute observations that come out of nowhere. My theory here, my working theory, is that he goes on Twitter, he sees Twitter threads about like reviews and stuff, and then he just copies and pastes them into his reviews.
has that premise,
But sometimes it's just nonsensical rambling. We'll have to see.
but the movie is much darker than you would think that it's going to be.
How? I mean, I guess.
Things that it has in it, what happens to a particular character, what has happened to other characters, who's behind it, what he's done, all this. I'm like, whoa. I expected to be all of this. So some of you might be, well, those were in the games. I don't know that because I've only played the first one.
You know what? Honestly, if anyone else is a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, it has to be a little bit weird for if you don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's and they're talking about kids stuffed in animatronic suits. You know what I mean? It has to be kind of strange.
But I gotta say, half of the movie was great to me. I really enjoyed myself
Okay.
through the first half. It was
Nothing happens really in the first half.
scary and creepy and
Cheesy,
Halloweeny.
in my
and
opinion.
The security guard gets his job and he's in there. And there's even a point, like, put it this way, there's bad guys in there that get what's coming to them, and you love it when it happens.
That was a whole thing in the film. You know, I saw this coming from a mile away, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. When they had the aunt who was, who like decided in 2 seconds, they decided a business plan that she was going to have that group of people infiltrate the Five Nights at Freddy's pizzeria. You already knew that like they just needed a body count to show that these animatronics aren't all cute and cuddly. Because without that scene, that whole entire that whole entire you know part of the whole movie would have been just cute and cuddly animatronics. So they needed that.
It's just, but then after that, a veil is lifted of sorts. The truth comes out very early about what's going on, who they are, why they are, who's behind it, who can talk to them, who can't. Like, it's all there. And at that point, it's no longer mysterious, creepy, or scary, really. It's just, what is this? Sesame Street now?
That's actually a good critique.
But a little dark. It's just weird how they did that so early. And there's a cop involved, and
Oh yeah, by the way, the whole cop being there, I mean, I understand it's justified at the end, but it was so strange to me whilst watching it, you know what I mean? Vanessa, her being uh what's his name? Michael Scott? No, Springtrap, whatever his name is. His his daughter. I mean, it just,
I just got to tell you, I just got really bored with it
yeah.
once they lifted the veil and just told you everything.
Hmm.
It was just like, what?
If they were to do a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, this is just I had an idea for a video, and it would have taken so long, and I don't have the editing prowess and stuff. But I was thinking, how cool it would be since I kind of bashed the movie. What if I made my own script for Five Nights at Freddy's and what they could have done? You know what I mean? Or at least like a short version of it. You know. Um, Personally, I think it would have been cooler if they went like a last shift kind of route with it. They made it super they really honed in on the atmosphere. That would have been really cool for the movie, I think. um but yeah, it would have had to be R-rated, and added more, mystery, as this guy's saying right here. And I think it's a honest and fair critique. The movie had no mystery to it. I mean, it was just all kind of given to you. And now some of you might be saying, well, everyone kind of already knows Five Nights at Freddy's, who's watching it, the fans. Well, they could take a lot of creative liberties with it, and there are still going to be a lot of people that don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's. So
Okay. And I got bored with it. I did. I got bored, and I would say 45 minutes maybe after the veil is lifted. I was ready to leave. I was ready to leave. Like I said, I enjoyed the first half, but hey, shout out to Corey Kenshin. Saw you in there, brother. Uh, he's in there, and it's just it's not what I thought it was gonna be. If you're a fan of the game, I say check it out, but I wouldn't say go to the movies. It's really worth just waiting until
also don't go to the movies because everyone's fighting in the theaters.
it comes out. But if you want to go, you know, hit a matinee. Don't spend the full whatever ticket. Go to a matinee. Get a deal. Okay? It is not worth full movie price. It isn't. Okay?
Also, I said that it looked like it was shot on a blue screen, and I think what I meant was it looked really cheap, you know? And they had a budget of like 25 million. There's been movies that I can just point to that had a much less budget, that their budget was much less, and they could create an atmosphere that was way better than Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I just don't think it's an excuse, you know what I mean? A, a film this big, you know, it didn't have to be a masterpiece by any stretch, but I thought, it should be pretty good and, maybe well acted. I don't think
I'm
that's too
still
much
going
to
to play
ask.
the rest of the games, though. I'm going to give this 2 out of 5. Woo! Post comments.
That's so funny, man. 2 out of 5 woos. So yeah, this is what I guess sort of the layman thinks of this movie. You know, this guy right here. That's what he thinks of the movie. And I think this is honestly, I went to him because I think like this is what most people who don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's are gonna think. You know. And to me, it's a little bit strange because there are really good film reviewers who think this movie's great, and you know that's their opinion. But I just this is such a strange film. You know what I mean? To rate because of how much build up it's had. How you know I don't know. That's just what I think of the movie. I mean, there's people who love this movie. You know, they think they are Chica. They think they are Bonnie. They think they are the animatronics. They thought it was really funny when uh, Bonnie pulled a Terminator. You know, and good for them. They enjoyed the film. But personally, you know, maybe I'm just of the age range that isn't really gonna find this film cool or interesting. I just think that's interesting in itself. Anyway, this has been Magnasite Man versus PhDdad. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys later.